Live from historic Dunn Field, it's once again time for Elmira Pioneers baseball, as this afternoon we get a continuation matchup between which is being resumed 16 days later. Originally the Pioneers' third scheduled contest of the season, happening now for a 4 p.m. first pitch from Dunn Field. Once again, your Pioneers will be ahead 2 runs, 3-1, as we head to the top of the 5th inning. Good afternoon, everybody. For the Elmira Pioneers Baseball Network, I'm Farrell Hudson, as always, taking you through our pregame and live coverage. A shortened 5-inning ball game continuation for the Pios and Pilots, and then they'll get set for their regularly scheduled 6:30 p.m. start time in Game 2. That'll be a 7-inning. Let's recap yesterday's first full matchup of the season between both the Pilots and the Pioneers, as the Newark Pilots come rolling in still in first place, 7-3-1. Right a couple of their wrongs from earlier in the season. They've now won 8 of their last 10 ball games. They're 8-5, including a dominant 6-3 here on their home field at Dunn. So overall, a really nice job done by the Pioneers to salvage what was a bit of a slow start. They won 13-9 on the road yesterday. Let's take you through it at Colburn Park. The game started with Newark striking first in the bottom of the 4th inning. Owen Hoyt, the southpaw out of the University of Oswego, got the start for the Pioneers, and he went 3 2/3 innings, gave up 2 hits, 1 run, 1 earned, with 2 walks and 4 strikeouts. Casey Julkowski came in relief afterwards. He was the winning pitcher in the ball game, gave up no runs again for Casey. He's been money all season, strike out anybody, but that didn't affect him at all. A 1.23 ERA for Casey Julkowski across 7 1/3 innings pitched. He's pitching to one of the lowest batting averages of any Pioneers relief pitcher right now at .214. He's been incredibly solid on the season to begin. The Pioneers scored then 5 runs in the top of the 6th inning. It started with leading off the inning. You had the top of the batting order in Aiden Grabowski. He walked and got on. Then an infield single from TJ Grimesti. A strikeout of John Simmons for the first out. That was recorded. Pilots, and Bowman did a really excellent job. Went 5 innings, gave up 5 Pioneers hits, but did not allow an earned run. 1 walk and 1 strikeout. Kept the ball low in the zone, and for the Pioneers, they stranded 6 base runners through the opening, or rather, 7 base runners through the opening 5 innings against Bowman. Micah Bennett came in, and that's when the Pioneers did damage. Across 2/3 of an inning, 3 hits, 5 runs, all 5 of them earned, 2 walks and 1 strikeout for Bennett. He was then pulled for Virginia to open. Elmira had a 5-1 lead entering the 7th, 5-2 entering the 8th. A 7-run top half of the 8th inning. John Lucas Sanchez, the final line for the lefty as he departed. 2 innings pitched, 7 runs, none were earned on strikeout yesterday in the ballgame. 3 errors made for the Newark Pilots, a couple costly ones. The Pioneers batted around twice. You thought it was all well and good with Elmira ahead 12-2, and Newark said, well, hey, not so fast in the bottom of the 8th inning. You had Chase Medris take the mound for the Pioneers, the right-hander out of Scottsdale, Arizona, who has not made many relief appearances so far for the Pioneers this season, but to put it bluntly, not the best outing for Chase. He walked 4 in a row, did not even record an out, came out of the ball game. Jackson Grant could not find success either, gave up a hit, 3 runs on 3 earned, with 2 walks and no. His final line, 4 earned runs across no outs recorded. Larson Birch came in, pitched the bottom of the 8th inning, got an inning of work, 2 hits, no earned runs, 1 walk, no strikeouts. And then in the bottom of the 9th, struck out the side, got Chris Finicaro, who had himself a nice steady ball game. Mason Haar, the extra hitter for Newark, who got on base 3 out of the catcher, Parker Zeisser. So when all was said and done, a wild affair. Have you set up for this afternoon's ball game? Elmira once again coming in 8-5. They have a chance to win both games of the doubleheader today and take the lead for the most wins in the entire PGCBL Western Division. The good news for the Pioneers is that they control their own destiny. So that's an extreme positive right now that Elmira has, as we're going to take you in just a couple moments here over to the managers. The continuation ball game. Elmira had 3-1 in the game from June. Bottom of the 1st. Newark tied it in the top of the 2nd. Pioneers went back in front in the home half and then got a run in the bottom of the 3rd. Right now, Pios lead 3-1 as we head to the top of the 5th inning. For all the latest thoughts and ideas on to the assistant coach for the Pioneers, here is Eugene Barber. Pioneers pregame live by the assistant coach of the Pios, Eugene Barber, ahead of today's doubleheader with the Newark Pilots. Coach, getting started, a 13-9 victory over the Pilots at Colburn Park yesterday. What did you like that you saw from the boys?
I think one thing that I saw from the boys is that around the team coming out onto the field that day and just rolled over into the game and was able to come out on top.
Another really good start from Owen Hayes. What goes 3 2/3 innings, only 1 earned run of baseball. What were you seeing from him that made him effective for a 2nd consecutive outing?
He's got a lot of experience through for us last year, and he had a heck of a year up at Oswego, and they were a top team in the Empire 8. So it's just success that he's had in the past, and he's bringing that to the Pioneers, and we love to see that from him.
On the offensive side, you guys are really starting to swing the bats well. 27 runs in your last 3 ball games. What's attributing to that?
I just think it starts in BP. When the guys get here, they're ready to work. We have a very competitive philosophy for our hitters, and it just translates into the game, into quality at bats. We ultimately end up getting to the starter, getting him out of there, and getting to the bullpen.
What is some of that competitive philosophy that you guys establish with the hitters?
One of the big things is just having a good quality mindset. We want to be positive upstairs so we can have positive success on the field. And then from there, just little things with guys that most hitters need to get to into position. There's a lot of mental resistance and giving in to the opposing team, and just that mindset of being a Pioneer. We love to see that from the guys really buying in right now.
2 integral pieces of the middle infield duo in both Aiden Grabowski and Jacob Moniz in their last 2 ball games have reached base safely in more than 50% of their at-bats. What have you liked that you've seen from them in terms of their plate approach and consistency?
I just think that we've been relentless out there with those guys, being able to log those innings for us. They show a lot of resiliency over the course of, these hot summer months, and especially with the rain mixing with that too. They're not always playing on a perfect playing surface, so, they're really into the game, so checking out the field, checking out their areas, so that way they have ample opportunity to create success for themselves defensively.
You guys had a 12-2 lead entering the bottom of the 8th inning yesterday, a bit of a tough time from the bullpen. Do you attribute that to a couple extra off days, just getting a feel for guys, or were that many walks getting to be a point of concern?
It's always a concern. We have a great pitching coach here in Burkan, so he's going to be able to get with the guys and, kind of correct those issues. And that's just, testament to him that he's willing to put in the work. And we fully expect those guys to be successful for us this season. We've seen it in the past. Guys that might have struggled in June, had great success in July.
Bryce Machanek was fantastic, striking out in the bottom of the 9th inning, getting a couple guys to end the ball game there. What did you like that you saw from Bryce in the closer role?
Bryce, when he's confident, he's able to achieve anything out there on the mound. When he's hyped up and has good energy, good body language, his success is, literally endless. He has a good fastball, good breaker. So just being in the zone, being competitive, and, just forcing teams to literally beat him.
You talked about being competitive in the element of emotion, and we saw that with Larson Birch coming off the mound at the end of the 8th inning yesterday. Did get himself thrown out of the game, but do you like overall that compassion and that intensity and fire that he showed?
Oh, I personally, I can't speak for all the coaches. I love that fire reaction that he showed out there. Maybe could have been a little bit more composed in the way that he showed it. And it's, ultimately just a teaching point for him. We want the energy. We want the excitement. Baseball's a fun game, but sometimes we have to channel that in a different direction.
Coach, thank you, and best of luck today.
Well, thank you. We're going to continue to be persistent out there in our approach and our overall game plan to go out there and take 2 today.
So there you have it. Your assistant coach, Eugene Barber, for the Pioneers, giving his thoughts ahead of this afternoon's ballgame. We'll take a short timeout and come back. We'll have anthems, lineups, first pitch, and more here on the Pioneers Baseball Network.